Cool. Hey, good morning, guys. I'm here with a good friend of mine, Pete Sanchez the third. Pete, how you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic, Drew. Thanks for asking.
You're welcome. So, man, I appreciate you being with me on Saturday here, but and especially from where you're at right now. Tell me a little bit about where you're at right now.
Right now, my wife and I, we are in Playa del Carmen, Mexico, which is about 30 minutes from Cancun. So this is considered the Mayan Riviera of Mexico. So it's beautiful, very beautiful here. Yeah.
How long have you been down there?
We've been down here. It's been 12 days. So
Wow.
I'm out here because well, we recently got married June 7th,
Oh,
and
congratulations.
thank you. And before that, I had this crazy idea that I got from a book called The 4-Hour Work Week, where he talks about mini retirements. And I told my fiance at that time, I was like, hey, why don't we do something really crazy? Let's go on a 6-month honeymoon. And she's like, all right, let's do it. And so we are here on our 12th or 13th day of our 6-month honeymoon, and we're just having a blast, and also able to work our business too remotely. So that's
Now, are
cool.
you staying there in Playa del Carmen the whole time, or are you going to travel around?
We're going to travel around. We'll be here for 2 months in Playa del Carmen till about early August, and then from there, we don't really know. We're thinking Europe. We've looked at Greece. We've looked at Spain to go out there for a month or two, and then we'll come back. We'll come back sometime in November for a 10-day vacation trip that I won in Hawaii, all expenses paid for my company, and then we'll be out in the Philippines, hopefully for about a month in the jungles. That's going to be really interesting because we'll be sleeping in these huts. There's no, what's it called? There's no restrooms, so you have to go out in the jungle and use banana leaves and whatever. So
Wow.
that's that's
Better you than me on that trip.
right. So that'll be interesting. It's more of a missionary work. We're working on this water project where we're funding one of my friends, and he's got a water project in the Philippines where we bring clean water and food and just basic necessities to the villagers out there, and just showing them love and just helping them out any way we can. So we're gonna go out there and continue that project.
Now let me ask you about that. Over the years I've seen a lot of posts from you where you're going down to Mexico to do missionary work or to help people. This is obviously a big part of your life. How long have you been doing those things?
I've been doing that's for about four to 5 years now. Um, it started after actually a huge obstacle in my business during the real estate crash, which you guys all know, 2008, 2009.
I
I
know too
lost
well.
I lost a lot of properties, and had a really huge self-realization that during those times when I was flipping properties, there's some pretty big checks made, and I can't remember one organization or one charitable contribution I made when I was making that money, and it really set a realization that I was being very selfish with these gifts that I was given to make money. And I said, you know what? I'm not going to live a life like that. I'm going to live a life of service and really wanting to genuinely help people. And then I started going down to Mexico to the orphanages and building houses, and haven't stopped ever since. Just because it really fulfills my soul, so to speak. And, because the money and all that, it's a never-ending thing. You got to have a purpose-driven life as well. So.
Now, do you feel like, because I think we all hear about giving and tithing and charity, but have you noticed an increase in business or an increase in your your spirit once you've been giving? Have things gotten easier for you?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's there's definitely a universal law, that says what you sow you reap in this world, and it's when you give financially, it's not always going to come back financially. That blessing can be in many ways. It could be a child, just like your second baby that you just had. That's a huge blessing.
Right.
It's healthy baby. Everything's good. It could be a wife, like God blessed me with a beautiful wife. She's actually right here with me.
Hey, Drew.
Hi, how are you?
So the
I'm so happy for you.
The blessing's not always financially, but here, let me transfer the headset here. The blessing's not always financially, but yeah, it's definitely helped a lot, especially around my heart mostly. Because when I did the real estate, it for sure, like, 100%, it was all about me. How many houses can I build? Um, I really looked at clients as numbers, and how much money I could make off of each property versus now it's a lot different. Now it's like, okay, how much money can I make so that I can support other charitable organizations, and what projects can we work with this abundance of money, so to speak. So it's a different heart condition, and I read somewhere, I don't remember exactly who the author was, but it really, really caught my attention. I really liked it. It says, giving is God's cure for greed. And I really like that. I really like that. So
if people are listening, they should tweet that out, right? Now, what was it one more time?
Giving is God's cure for greed.
Giving is God's cure for greed.
Yeah.
Is that right? Giving is God's cure for greed. I like
There you
that.
go.
Good.
Yeah.
One thing that I'm hearing, and things I've read and heard other people talk about as you describe, giving and what it's done for you, is that the focus on money goes from money being the object or the end result to really it's a tool, right? It's a tool for what you can do in life and how you can help, and the more money you have, the more people you can help. I mean, it's
That's correct.
I kind of got caught up for a while in real estate as well, and everything was materialistic, and money was kind of the end goal that I was working for, and I was just selfish with it, so I kind of came to similar realizations, being so selfish, and it was just all about me, which I think is still important. You have to take care of yourself, but I wasn't looking to kind of pass the money out and share with people, and kind of what hit me was that I've always thought of money as like a river that flows. I've never seen a shortage of it, and I've never got caught up in the scarcity mindset consciously, but subconsciously that's what I was doing. I was like hoarding things. And what I kind of realized is by doing that, I was blocking the energy and the flow of money and things to come from me, because I was just like stopping it here. And so I've really now, and that's why I was so curious to hear your take on that, because you've always been an inspiration to me. But the other day I saw someone post on Facebook, and it was Sunday afternoon, and they were putting together kits to take down to hand out to the homeless. And it was really the first time where I saw something like that where I felt compelled to say, hey, I want to get involved. The next time you do that, I want to be involved.
Was that Mia Davies by any chance?
It may have been. It was through Mike Sherbikoff.
Oh, okay.
I saw it through his page. It was a bunch of people doing it, so I'm not sure.
Oh, got it. I thought it was for downtown, somewhere in downtown.
Yeah, probably. So I just feel compelled to do that. My kind of drive, though, is really to help kids.
Yeah, that's
both
huge.
In this country. Yeah, I just know. I look at my 4.5-year-old, and I know he's already smarter than I am. And I feel like that's the future. And now my newborn is even smarter than the 4.5-year-old, right?
They learn from each other.
Yeah, exactly. So I really have a strong desire to help kids, like pre-teen to teenagers, is to help them with entrepreneurship. And that's always, I think, a big thing for you too, hasn't it, Pete? Is helping the youth and kids younger.
That's correct. Yeah, because I always wanted to, in high school, I wanted to be a teacher, and here we go again, following the money. I chased the money, and I said, well, teacher is very rewarding, but unfortunately, they're so underpaid, especially for what they do. I mean, they're developing our future, and they get paid so little. So I chose engineering as the next best vehicle to provide for myself, and yeah, it paid very well, but since we're talking about lifestyle here, it's just not giving me the lifestyle. I mean, I was in a cubicle all day, going through the same traffic here in San Diego. It's constant rat race, and so I chased the money again, and it's kind of funny that when it went in my life, that when I chased the money, because just for the money itself, I seem to get in trouble. Or it just does not work the way I want it to work. So.
It's funny. Just when you said that, it made me think of a story. It's like I'm a dog lover, so and my dog, she's precious. She's under the desk here with me now. But I used to take her to the dog park, and I learned a lesson. Someone told me this. Is I would call for her. I'd say, "Come on, Molly, let's go," and she would never come. And if I would chase after her, she'd run away from me. So one day, someone said, "Why don't you just turn around and run to the car?" And I ran to the car, and she chased me right to the car. And I kind of think, well, you're talking about money, chasing the money. The more you chase it, the more elusive it becomes. When you stop chasing it almost and run away from it, to help people and to give back and serve people, it seems like the money flows to you much quicker.
Yes, that's correct.
So, all right, well, hey, I'm sorry to get us off on that tangent, but one thing I want to ask you about specifically is, obviously looking at you on camera, I know you, but people don't know you. You guys are very young, younger than I. I'm 41, so I know you're younger than I am. How are you able to go away for 6 months and like just be away? Like, what type of business are you in that allows you to go do that without worrying about how you're going to pay your rent or your mortgage or your car payment or whatever?
Yeah. Well, right now we're currently in the home-based business industry, affiliate marketing, and more of an online business approach. And like I mentioned earlier, we were in the real estate business, and we did that for about 4 years. It was pretty good. You would flip a property, but the biggest draw to that is like, you close a deal, but you don't know when you're going to get paid, and it's more, as Robert Kiyosaki says, it's more of an active income. You're kind of trading. You're also trading, your time for dollars, and it never really allowed us to travel. And Robert Kiyosaki talks about you want to be on the right side of the cash flow quadrant, the BNI, where you have the passive income coming in. So I started transitioning more into the home-based business industry, and I've been with my company for about 2 years now, and it's been a very rewarding. I mean, the way that the structure is built, you're building business, and every single month, new business comes in, new orders come in, so the people are actively ordering products and stuff like that, services on a monthly basis. So every month we're getting paid a passive residual income. So all the work that we did in the beginning, we're still getting paid on that, and on the way that I have it systematized. It runs self-independently without me and Gisela having to be there. So it runs on its own, and it allows us to the time freedom to do this 6 month honeymoon.
To go on trips.
Yeah, go on trips, and there's occasional
explore life in a different way that I've never would have thought I would have ever lived my life.
Exactly. So it's a system, and like any other business, you gotta know how to properly set up the system. I remember reading from a book called The E-Myth by Michael Gerber. Talked about the 3 hats, and as entrepreneurs, we're the ones that want to be on the outside of the system, looking into the system and tweaking it as we go by. But we're not the mom and pop shop, so to speak, where we're inside our business, and we're actively doing all the roles of the managerial stuff and the technician stuff. No, we're the entrepreneurs. We look at the systems, we bring in new business, and we make sure that the system is intact so that it runs without us. That, from what I learned from that book, is a true definition of a business, is when you have a system that's self-dependent, and that's allowing us, to travel, and takes care of our bills. And one of the biggest things, if you're going to want to be a lifestyle entrepreneur, is it's really not about the materialistic things. I have so many mentors that have made millions of dollars, and a lot of them ended up being broke. And I'm really glad they shared a lot of their wisdom, because they all said that they never really knew how to budget themselves. They thought the money was going to come in over and over, and there's seasons in business, and they never invested their money. They didn't really know how to budget. So that's one of the biggest things that my wife Gisela and I do is we make sure that we have budgets. We make sure that if we see these nice watches or anything, like we ask ourselves, do we really need those watches? It's not really. We'd rather save that money to give again. So, definitely, again, if you want to live a lifestyle, you gotta for sure know how to budget and have strong financial management. Like, don't fall back on your taxes. That was one of the biggest mistakes I did early in my business careers. Make sure, make sure if you have payroll and stuff like that set up. I don't know if you guys have whoever's watching, if you have corporation, make sure you have payroll set up. Just make sure that your financial house is in order. Because yes, the living the lifestyle is amazing, but there takes a lot of maintenance involved to be able to live this type of lifestyle, and a lot of it is making sure that the financial management is in order. Yeah. There you
go. So let me ask you. You bring up some good points there, and you talk about the system. And then I also hear people talk about the process. So it's the systems and the processes. A lot of times people will look at someone like you and Gisela and say, wow, they got lucky, or someone helped them, or they had rich parents, or they won the lottery, right? I mean, from what I know of you, I don't believe any of that's to be true. Talk about the process of, like, how do you get to this point? Because it's not that easy, right? It's definitely not get rich easy.
No, it's not.
Took time.
It could take time. And I've actually been at this process for about 8 years in total. 2 years in my first home-based business. Totally failed at that one, and I only made $1,000 in 2 years. Did not know what I was doing, and then transitioned into real estate. Did that for 4 years. Had some successes, had some downs too. Like I mentioned earlier, I lost properties. I was almost in a lawsuit over a transaction. During all those 4 years of figuring out how to go full-time in business, I had 6 to 7 different jobs, because I would take a job and then, like, 5-6 months into it, I get fired, because once you get a little taste of freedom, there's no turning back. You have to do whatever it takes to become a lifestyle entrepreneur, because there's just nothing like it. Nothing like being able to wake up whenever you can. But yeah, it's been a journey. I mean, I don't know how many hours, hundreds, maybe in the thousands of hours of personal development. I don't know how many books I've read, hundreds. I've gone to many seminars, hours of YouTube videos, just learning to master the skills and the mindset of what it takes to be able to create, this type of lifestyle, because there's a price. There's gonna be a huge price to pay, and for me, and it's been about many years. Like I said, many years of struggle, and I've been in those tough times where I had to go to those cash advance places just to pay rent, and asking my parents for money, and it's very embarrassing, and also very humbling as well. And you just gotta look at the mirror, and one day you just gotta be like, you know what, I'm done with this, and I deserve to live this lifestyle. So the biggest thing is just don't ever quit, because everybody has to go through a refining process. What I mean by the refining process is the development of the mindset. There's no get rich quick. There's no get into this lifestyle quick. It takes time. You have to have the lifestyle mindset, lifestyle entrepreneurship mindset, and that's going to look different for everybody. So there's a price to pay, guys. It's worth it, though. I mean, 6-month honeymoon. I mean, it's when we tell people about that people are just like, how is that possible? I mean, that's amazing.
They always ask, do you guys have money saved up?
Yeah, did you guys have money saved up? Like,
how do you do it?
How do you do it? And
and really, it seems like it's unbelievable, because a lot of the times it is. But it's all about building that network, building that friendship, that family, and that's what it's all about. The more people you know, the more people you help, whether it's in business, life, family, friendship, you're gonna prosper, in whichever way that might lead you to. But it's been a wonderful experience, and even better, just not to even do it by yourself, but to do it with a partner, And
no fun by yourself.
What?
I said it would be no fun by yourself.
Oh no, it would be. I mean, I'm sure it would be somewhat fun, but then boring, and then depressing, I would think, after a while.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
if I worked from home and without my wife and kids and my dog, it would suck. What makes it so
Yeah.
great is I can go walk around the block with my family and play football with my little boy during the day, or go watch Curious George, which I'm addicted to. At 8 o'clock, I watch Curious George. Uh, which does like. I'm curious. I want to ask you guys how you would consider this. Would you consider yourselves good employees or not? I'm just curious.
Dead employees?
A good employee.
Oh.
Oh man.
Uh, gosh, that's kind of hard to say because sometimes I'm really bad. And then sometimes I have my days where I'm just really good, but I employ myself.
I know
And
what Pete's going to say. What are you going to say, Pete?
I
If I came to you and said, I want to hire you right now to be an employee, what would you be, a good or bad employee?
I am the worst of the worst. I'm the one that comes in. That's why I got fired 6, 7 times, because I would I mean, like I said, once you get this lifestyle, there's no turning back. So I'm like, why am I gonna show up with honor and yes, I guess now I look back at it, I should have been more grateful, because I had a job and it was paying my bills, and I never struggled financially during that time because I had that good job to back me up. But at the same time, yes, I was definitely the worst employee. I mean, going in late, taking long lunches to go to networking events, building my business while the company was paying me. I would not recommend. So I'm telling you all that. Definitely, like I said, I look back at it. It was definitely not good integrity. It's just, but I mean, we're talking about lifestyle entrepreneurship. I think you guys can maybe give me some grace and mercy. It's just hard, man, when you're sitting in a cubicle and you're building someone else's dream.
and they tell you that you can't do the things that you want to do with your family because you have to work that day. I mean, I would hate that. I would hate for someone to say, I'm sorry, but you can't go see your kids play because you have to be here till 5 o'clock. Forget that. I'm walking out. That's horrible.
Yeah, it's funny. The reason I asked that is because I have a consulting job. It's a really great consulting job. It's for a semi-celebrity person. It's great. They pay me well. I've just resigned from it, so I'm just wrapping up the project, which the final day is today, actually. And
Wow.
mind you, I'm doing this hangout with you though, versus that work. And so I was talking to the owner, and one day he had me over to his house, and he said, we'd like to offer you a full-time position. And I just said, you don't want to hire me. Like, I'm a terrible employee. Like, I wouldn't hire me. I would definitely do not hire me. And I didn't think about it as I was saying it to him, but as I came home and was telling my wife, she's like, you're crazy. I can't believe you just go tell the owner that you're a terrible employee. But I went on in that conversation, and I told him is what happens is the more you make me feel like an employee as I'm working for you, the less my creativity flows. The more I start thinking like an employee versus an entrepreneur. And as an employee, I can only provide so much value because I get heads down. I start, as Michael Gerber would say, I become the technician. I start turning that screw, and I don't look for any better ways to do it.
Right.
And as an entrepreneur, and I hear it in you guys, and every entrepreneur I know kind of feels the same ways. I'm always looking for a better way to do something. I'm always looking for a way to improve my system, a way to create more time freedom, more leverage in my life, which you guys do a lot of reading, so you may have already read this book, but if you haven't, this is my gift to you. The Millionaire Fast Lane. Have you read it?
The Millionaire Fast Lane?
I have
Yes.
not.
No, we haven't.
Do you guys read on Kindles? Do you have like an iPad or something? Or
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have that.
So if after this, if you send me your Kindle email, I'm going to send you this book. Yeah, look it up on Amazon, but I'll send you a copy of it.
Sorry.
It's the most incredible book I've read, and I've read probably a lot of the same books you have, Pete. But what it talked about so well that no other books that I've read have talked about is it said people are either on one of three paths: the sidewalk, the slow lane, or the fast lane. And I'll let you read the book, but just for everyone that's not watching this or does watch it down the road, get the book and read it. And it basically talks about sidewalkers are people who live on event-based things, right? They're like, I'm going to get rich when I win the lottery. I'm going to get rich when my uncle dies, and inheritance. I'm going to get rich when I close that big real estate deal and get that big check. Everything's event-based.
Mm-hmm.
And they have no financial plan. They sacrifice tomorrow for today because there's no guarantee of tomorrow. So they live in the moment, and they always spend more than they make because they have no financial discipline. So they buy the watches that you guys talked about passing on. And for the record, publicly, I have to admit, I read that part of the book and realized I was on more of the sidewalk than I am proud to be. And so it was like this eye-opener, like, okay, I agree with that, and I'm that person, so I have to get off the sidewalk. The natural exit for people off the sidewalk, it talks about the slow lane, which is what we've all been indoctrinated with, which is go to school, get a job, save 10% of your money, get a 401k, and when you're 75 and in diapers, you'll be rich. You know, and so the slow lane is sacrifice today for tomorrow, which tomorrow rarely comes for people.
Yeah, and then when they do get there, their knees hurt. They can't even go on vacation.
Yeah, that's why I say they're in diapers in a bed. They can't, you know, they can't do anything. But the fast lane is where I see both of you on, and that's kind of my exit because my mind, I believe in the fast lane, and I just haven't been disciplined to do it, right? And the fast lane basically talks about how you have to control certain things that you can't control when you go to a job. So like in the fast lane, you can create a system like you guys have done that pays you today for work you did years ago versus the job, right? If you don't work today, if you don't go in 9 to 5, you don't get paid. So it's a great book. I'd love for you guys to read it, and you'll see on my Facebook, I actually posted the other day. It was such a great book that I put up a page to give away 20 free copies just to random people.
Nice.
So that was one of my efforts to give back to people. So let me ask you, we talked about briefly, and I know I want to be respectful of your time to get on the 6-month honeymoon, but I got to ask you a couple more things. So I noticed you actually have a website called 6monthhoneymoon.com.
Yeah.
So I have to say that because that, and on the back of your laptop you have a sign that says something. What's the back of your sign, your laptop say?
Oh, it says tired of your 9 to 5 job. Work from home.
And I remember seeing that in a coffee shop once. You're working, and you said you're working by the cash register because more people would see your computer.
That's right.
So I love and commend you and look up to you for the fact that you're always marketing.
Yes, I am.
Oh yeah, we have Drew. We have this big blue sign that says "Inbox me." What does it say, baby? I'll go get it. I'll show you real fast.
Okay.
Yeah, that's one of the principles that you guys have probably heard. You know, ABC. You know, always be closing, always be connecting. I like to use ABM, always be marketing. So
I love it. I need to do more of those things because every time I see something you're doing, I'm like, damn it, he's so smart. I got to do something like that.
Yeah, you always want to be marketing mostly yourself. That's one of the biggest things I've learned is definitely attraction marketing because people don't join. See, here's one of the one of our banners. It says, "Travel with us, inbox me."
Now, where do you put that?
We just carry it around when we're at airports or different sceneries as we travel, and we just do a little quick 15-second video. Hey guys, we're here in Europe. We're living the lifestyle. Come join us. Inbox me.
And then what do you do with that video? Just put it on YouTube, or do you
put it on all social media networks, and then if somebody sees
Instagram,
it and it creates curiosity. They'll be like, man, this couple's always traveling. What do they do? So then, the call to action is inbox me. So, it generates definitely some leads. People will say, hey, what do you do? The other day, I got 4 leads. Actually, one of them was my junior high teacher. She went into my website. You're talking about 6-month honeymoon. She went into my website, and she talked to, she said she wanted to start a home-based business because they don't pay her enough, kind of what we were talking about earlier, that why I didn't decide to do a teacher. So yeah, you always want to be marketing, and again, you're branding yourself, not a company, not a product or service. That's one of the biggest things that I see. If you guys are out there in the home-based business industry or any type of affiliate marketing, you're not branding the product or service. That's already done by the company. People are not buying the product; they buy you. They want to know that you're going to help them succeed, that you're going to mentor them to get the same lifestyle results that you're achieving. They want to be able to live the life that you want. So you have to know how to brand yourself, and that's why I'm always marketing myself.
Well, I love it, and I curse you because I always realize I'm like, man, he's so much smarter than I am.
You're really smart. I always looked up to you too.
Yeah,
you're very smart.
I started when I first met you. I don't know if you remember this. We met at Pete's coffee shop.
Yes, I do in Hillcrest, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I remember sitting there, and I'm like, man, this guy is really so ahead of the game. I mean, you showed me a funnel of how to drive traffic, which actually. That same funnel, I had it on my whiteboard back in San Diego. I drew a funnel, and on the top it says like pay-per-click, blog, Facebook ads, everything, and it all funnels down into a capture page. You were the one that actually planted that seed.
Wow.
I don't think I shared that with you, but yeah, I was like, man, this is definitely what you did that day. Is you planted the seed because you were way ahead of the game as far as any other marketer, and I'm like, you know what, I gotta follow this direction as far as online marketing, because I don't want to do what most other marketers do. You know, they have to go sit down at coffee shops and do hotel presentations. I said, if I master this online, create an online presence, I'll be able to create a lifestyle I want. So it worked, you know, and it was that one day that you really showed me the funnel structure that really planted that seed in my head. So thank you very much for that.
Wow, no worries. Well, thank you for sharing that. It means a lot to me. So we'll wrap up here, but I want to ask you, we've touched about briefly, but if someone is watching this right now, maybe they're a year into their lifestyle entrepreneur, maybe they're working 2 and 3 jobs, what advice can you give them so that they don't quit and so that they can keep going? I mean, because it's a tough road.
Yes, it's going to be very tough, guys. Like I mentioned earlier, there's going to be a huge price to pay, and you know, we all have a why. We all have a huge why we're doing this. For me and Gisela, I know we love to do missionary work. We love to give to people, and we just
love our family.
Yeah, we love our family. So
it's like that's important to us.
We that's our why is to help our families out, and that's the driving force for us. So you got to have a huge why, something that's going to drive you every single day, because there's going to be those days when you wake up and yes, you want to quit. I mean, early in my years, I think every day I would cry at night because I was not seeing the results that I wanted to, and I'm like, this is ridiculous. I don't know why I'm making all these calls and outbound calls and trying to generate leads. It's not working. And there's a lot of times when you're going to want to quit, but you know, as I laid there, I always remember my why, which is again our families and the missionary organizations. If we quit, we're quitting on them, and most importantly, we're quitting on ourselves. And so your why has to be bigger than your problems. Don't ever forget that. Again, your why has to be bigger than your problems.
Your why has to be bigger than your problems. I find that when I focus on my why or something bigger than it diminishes my problems to a non-existence.
That's right.
And then let me ask you, this is really off topic and may even offend some people, but I got to ask you, and I don't think you'll mind, and if you do, forgive me. Won't be the first time I've offended people. What is your shirt there? You know, I see a small thumbnail. What's your shirt say?
Oh, it says, Jesus, he lived, he died, he rose. So just giving gratitude for God and just Jesus, and you know, it's I like to say we're all saints that sometimes sin. So you know, he looks at us as without blemish, and you know,
as his children.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a religious person. We're not religious people at all. We We actually don't really like religion. For us, it's about a personal relationship with God, and it's not about the huge churches or the rituals and
constant communication with
yeah,
God, just like how we are here now.
It's just, hey, God's like our, he's our father, he's like our friend, he's our business partner, he's everything. He's just somebody that we just someone that we just communicate daily, and again, we're not perfect.
Never will be.
Never will be, but it is through him, that we seek our wisdom and guidance and just hope. I mean, every day I constantly ask for wisdom
and you'll actually hear him communicate back to you. I know it might sound kind of weird to some people out there, but you do actually, you feel God's presence and like telling you to do this or say certain things to certain people, and then they're like, how did you know to say that? I'm like, I was just supposed to. It's like the coolest thing when you have a relationship with God, because he will use you, and we're all, vessels. And it's like the moment, just imagine this, you're like a vessel, and if you close that top of the vessel, you're not going to have God being able to pour into you. But the moment you open it, all that light, all that energy and force of God and his Holy Spirit is just going to come crashing into your life, and he's just going to just show you so many beautiful things and just love on you, and you're going to actually feel his love, because he's loving on you right now, whether you know it or not, but now you're actually going to feel it. So that's what it's all about. That's all about Jesus and his love for all of us. And I go crazy with that, Drew.
Yeah, I can tell you get very vibrant. Well, I had to ask because I'm not a religious person either. Wasn't brought up in a church or anything like that. My wife, though, on the other hand, her family's much more religious than I. But over about the last 12 months, maybe 16 months, I've really pursued that relationship with God, and that's why I wanted to ask you about, because I see that you guys post about that more often, and I saw you had the shirt on, and I'm sitting here going, I got a Google t-shirt on, and you got a Jesus shirt on. But when you guys are back in San Diego, I'd love to spend some time with you talking about that. I actually went to church for the first time.
Nice.
I took my wife and my baby. Some friends invited us on Easter. Good time to go, I guess. But it's funny that I talk to God every single day now, and I pray every single day, multiple times during the day, which is something I'd never done for 39 years.
Praise God.
And I have to say that problems that were insurmountable before have, they're almost turned into valleys, and meaning that they're not uphill, they're downhill. They've went from very difficult to very easy. Opportunity has flooded into my life like never before, and I'm blessed with an amazing second child. And so I just want to share that with you guys. And really, the other thing is I used to put me first. Now I make a conscious effort that I put God first, and I feel like that's really been instrumental to me. So I just wanted to kind of take that moment to share that publicly too.
That's awesome. That's so awesome.
And say thank you to you guys, because even though I haven't mentioned before, seeing what you guys post and how you are and how your relationship is, together and then with God, it's been an inspiration to me and helped me feel comfortable in talking about it too, even in this public format. So off topic, but thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, guys. Well, I'm going to let you get back to your honeymoon. For anyone watching this, what I hope that you take away from this is that anyone who's living as a lifestyle entrepreneur, we're all doing different things. We're not all an internet marketer. We're not all a network marketer. We're not all a mom and pop business owner. It's just the lifestyle first. It's about, rather than working a job 9 to 5 and then living with whatever life you're left over, I kind of see it's the flip side of that is, design the life you want and then go figure out how to generate the income and the revenue to support that lifestyle. It's much more pleasurable.
Yes, it is.
So, all right, well, Pete, Gisela, thank you. Go have fun. Post some pictures on Facebook so I can see and live vicariously how you're living. And hit me up when you get back to San Diego. Let's go have a coffee. We'll go back to Pete's maybe to reunion, and we can just catch up on all things.
Yeah, and you'll have to introduce us to your new baby in the family.
I would love that very much. So,
what's your baby's name?
Well, my first one is Grayson, and my new one is Crosby.
Those are really cool names.
Nice.
Thank you. All right, guys. Well, thanks again. When this gets uploaded to YouTube, I'll send you a link, and then we'll just catch up when you get back in a few months.
Awesome.
Sounds good.
All right. Thank you, Drew, for your time.
Thanks, guys. You're welcome.
We appreciate you too.
All right. Bye.